Okay, we're out here on this 07 Versa right now, and we're doing two vehicles. We have this Scion right behind me. So here's our pressures and temperatures right now. Our superheat, subcooling. Man, that's some bad looking superheat if you were an HVAC guy. But we have 115 head pressure at 77 degrees out right now. We got 27 psi. So according to AC Pro right here, we're low. So I need to go up to we're in that area, the bottom low. But hey, I'm just Mr. Joe Blow, you know, do it yourself, first time. Grab my can, and I want to be somewhere in that green area. And you know what, the green area, if I'm on the low side, in the middle must be good, or more is better. Or what if I keep attach this up here and I just keep pumping it up until that low side pressure reaches somewhere up there in that middle area of 35 or 40, or maybe I want the maximum because more is better and more is more colder. So maybe I want to go for that 50. What would happen to this since I already have it full and I keep on pumping this in there? Let's take a look at this other vehicle over here. Let's see where we're at. This one, so this one's full. So he's pretty good. This one correlates pretty much in this 30 is right in there. This one's full. In this case, he would be in that range. You know, that would probably satisfy someone and say, hey, I'm good. And this one, it actually works. Now, how many videos have I made with this that it does work, and how many more videos have I made where it does not work? And that's where the problem lies. And the majority of the cars I get, if they're undercharged, it's not so bad. When I get the cars that, because the customer could not see this, but they tried to fill it up somewhere in the middle or the upper range, and when I get their car and it's way overcharged and this is floating up around 400 psi, that's where we have the problem. So be careful when using stuff that has a gauge that tells you things should be good. This just happened, and this is a variable compressor. So probably from what I've shown you, when I charge these variable compressors up with half the refrigerant charge, you get cold out of the dash depending on the ambient conditions, and you'll get that 30 or 31 psi with only half your charge. And I've made videos about that before. So be careful what gauges you follow and what pressures and temperatures you follow. There is no universal rule. There is no magic little gauge that tells you got it right. All right, that's it. This was just a quickie on that. And let's see what that one's doing. So the other one was the Testo app. So let's go over to the Field Piece app. Where are you at? Right there, Field Piece. And we got 95 degrees going in right at the inlet right there, and we got 50 degrees coming out of the dash. So we got roughly, there we go, 38, 40 degrees delta. It's able to cool right now. That's pretty good because you got this hot engine heat. You're heating up the air over the condenser, you're heating up the air over the hot radiator, then that hot air hits this hot catalytic converter and exhaust manifold. It gets up and it gets mixed in with the cold air out here. That's 77 degrees. So you get your average. It falls right down in there and gets mixed up, and it's going over my humidity and temperature sensor right there, and you're getting the average of this like 140, 160 degree air getting mixed and pulled in with some of this 77 degree air, and it's averaging out at 95, 96 degrees. So if you had the corral up here and you're just laying your gauge right here taking the temperature, you would be measuring like 120, 140 degrees right at this point if you had the plastic corral. But the temperature at this point when you're laying your gauge down, or the temperature when you have it here, or if you stuck it up on top of your car or on your windshield, is completely different than what actually makes it into the corral, mixes together, and comes out with your final temperature. So if you really want to be and if you even want to take it up a notch better, you take out the dust, you take out the dash, your glove box, you go down there and you get in below you're right at the intake of your impellers inside your squirrel cage, and you take the temperature right there. When you really want to get accurate, and if you even want to get more accurate, you go on to the other side of the case, find somewhere in the port where it's injecting the air, drill a hole, and that's when you take your real test just before the evaporator. But guys don't get that anal with automotive. And I just missed a call on my next guy, Larry. Larry, you've seen me make videos before. He's another mobile mechanic, and I'm gonna drop him off my set of gauges and a vacuum pump, and he is going to throw it on overnight on a car that he's putting the hose on the ice house up in San Francisco. It'll stay on the vacuum pump overnight. He'll set it up for me. I come in the next morning, I fill it up, give it its good okay, and it's off to go. Then Larry will come by, I'll leave my gauges and my vacuum pump there. Larry is gonna grab my vacuum pump and gauges, take them up to another job from that Suburban, from that video I released last week. He's changing, what was he changing on there? The compressor. He's changing the compressor on that other one, and he's gonna leave my gauges and vacuum pump on that Suburban overnight, and then I come in the next day and fill it up while it's on a vacuum all night long. And if it's your own personal cars, families, friends, or you really want to do a really good job, especially on messy automotive AC, leave the vacuum pump on overnight. All right guys, we almost got 100 degrees going into that evaporator right now. There we go. The thermostat must have just opened up, released some hot coolant going across the radiator, and it just picked up a lot of hot air right now, and it's actually going across the evaporator. All right, I'll see you guys later. Adios.